Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shay, and today I am here to do a January mid-month wrap-up. So I had only set my Goodreads goal to 75 for this year, and at the rate I'm reading books right now, I am well on my way to achieving that. I have already read 9 books / manga this month. I feel like I need to get on here and start talking about them, or my wrap-up at the end of the month is going to be like 20 minutes long. So let's just dig right in. Let's keep this short and sweet. I saw April Sarah over on her channel do this. I'll link her channel down below. I really liked the idea of it because then her wrap-ups don't get too extensively long. So thanks, April. You're awesome. Okay, so let's start with the 2 books that I read on my Kindle because I do not physically have those here with me because they're on my Kindle. So the first book is Creatura by Nellie Cab. I really enjoyed this book. It is totally like teenage angsty, fluffy kind of book. If you liked Twilight at all, you'll love this book. I did a review of Creatura earlier this week, so I will leave that linked down below. And you can get the synopsis and everything there, and you can get my feels. I kept it non-spoilery, so you can go ahead and watch the entire video. The second book I read on my Kindle this month was the sequel to Creatura, which is Fruits of Misfortune. Creatura, I gave 4 stars. Fruits of Misfortune, I gave a solid 3. I did not enjoy it as well. It really felt like a book that bridges the series. I think the first book was good, and I think the last book will be good, but it's that middle book to kind of connect everything. It didn't quite flow right. Some things happened within the book that I wasn't very happy with. I'm interested to see how everything will wrap up and conclude in the end of things, but as of right now, I still want to read the 3rd book, but I'm a little bit nervous. So as of right now, that's a 3 star. Next on my list, we're back to physical books that I have. So let's do the 2 manga that I read this month, and that is Fairy Tail Volume 1 and Fairy Tail Volume 2. So I love the anime Fairy Tail. You guys who watched my fandoms video, which again I'll link down below, know that I like Fairy Tail. So I decided to give the manga a try. Needless to say, I started out by picking up the first. I loved it. I devoured it in an hour. I mean, these are really quick reads, and where I was already somewhat familiar with the story, it went really fast. I mean, the animation's just black and white, pretty standard there. Nothing too adventurous. But I really enjoyed these. You get to see little things that didn't make it in the show, and I really, really, really enjoy it because I feel like you get to know the characters a little more deeply, and that's something that I always look for in books, and that's happening so far even in the manga, so I'm super excited. After I finished one, Barnes & Noble is having a manga sale. I believe it goes through Monday, the 18th. So I went back and picked up volumes 2, 3, and 4. So I've got a little while before I'll have to buy manga again, because manga can get expensive because you do devour them so quickly. So I'm trying to like limit my spending a bit because it's getting a little out of hand. You'll see when I film a haul, my January haul, but I'm really excited. I enjoyed these 2 volumes. I gave them each 4.5 stars. Next up is Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. So Ginger Reads Lainey absolutely loves this series, and it seems like her and I have fairly similar tastes. A lot of the books she doesn't like, I don't like either. So I went ahead, and my husband had got me the series for Christmas, so I decided to start it this month. I enjoyed it. I gave it a solid 3.5 stars. The reason why I did that is it was a little more violent than I was expecting. Like blatantly violent, not like war violent. So that caught me off guard a little bit, and I think that affected my star rating. But the way the world is built is lovely. The character development is phenomenal, and you know, the deaths that happened were for character growth and character development, and so it was good that way, but at the same time it just was very surprising and caught me off guard a little bit. I think part of me hoped it wouldn't happen, and then it did for the characters, and so I think that just kind of threw me off a little bit. So I gave this a 3.5 stars. I do plan on continuing the series, but this book was also very intense for me because of the amount of violence there was. So I'm going to have to read them a little bit far apart. I'm going to have to put some fluff in the middle. Next up is my classic that I chose for this month, and that is Persuasion by Jane Austen. Now, I had never read this particular classic, and I adored it. Oh my gosh, Captain Wentworth, steal my heart. This book was absolutely fantastic. I gave Persuasion 5 stars because I absolutely adored it. My particular copy is only about 200 pages long, so it's the shortest Austen I've ever read. but I feel like the characters were developed. It is a story about redemption and forgiveness and love conquering all, and that just made my little romantic heart so happy. So if you have not checked out Persuasion by Jane Austen, I would definitely recommend it. It took me a little bit to get into it because it's been so long since I've read classic literature. It took me a while to get into the language and the writing, but once I got into it, it flew by and went so fast. Next up, another fluffy book, and that's Dream Factory by Brad Barkley and Heather Helper. I picked this up at a library sale. My library was so cool. They took a brown paper bag and you could put whatever you wanted in it and you only paid $5. So this was one of the books that I picked up at that particular sale. And it was fun, it was fluffy, solid like 2.5 stars, 3 stars, somewhere in that realm. I mean, it was a fun little story. It's about some of the people that work at Disneyland go on strike, and so it's about the stories of the people that kind of fill in for them and what happens as they're working for Disney. And so if you like Disney or wonder behind the scenes of Disneyland or Disney World at all, I think you'll enjoy this read. Next up is my nonfiction pick this month, and that was I Am Malala. This is about the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. It was really interesting to see her life leading up to the events and to see what's happened since. It was very much a memoir. I enjoyed it. This is not my typical choice for reading, and I still gave this 4 stars. So that, I think, is a testament to the fact that either my book taste is growing or this was a really well-written book. Either way, if you read memoirs at all, I suggest picking this one up if you haven't. Last but not least on my list is Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. Now, this was the first book I picked up this month, and I adored it. I love the Mistborn world that Brandon Sanderson has created, and to be able to get more content in that world made me really, really happy. So the Alloy of Law is more of a Western than the original trilogy. The original trilogy is a typical high fantasy style trilogy, but this is a Western. More steampunkish, and I really enjoyed it. Wax and Wayne are very lovable characters, especially Wayne. I mean, I wasn't so sure about Wayne in the beginning, but I really grew to love Wayne very, very quickly, and I really did enjoy this book so, so much. So, if you have finished the original Mistborn trilogy and are wanting to read some more Brandon Sanderson, I would go ahead and pick up this Wax and Wayne series. I'll be moving on to Shadows of Self here soon, and I'm hoping to get Bands of Mourning here quickly as well so I can get a review of that up for you. If you're interested in seeing a review of Alloy of Law, go ahead and let me know down below, and maybe I'll film that one upcoming this next week. So that is my mid-month wrap-up, friends. Those are the 5 books and manga that I have consumed already this year. I am well on my way to reaching my Goodreads goal. I am on my 10th book right now, which is currently The Black Unicorn by Terry Brooks. That is the 2nd book in the Magic Kingdom of Landover series. If you haven't checked out that series at all, I do highly suggest picking up Magic Kingdom for Sale Sold, which is the 1st book. I really did enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next week.